Okay, everyone. Today we're looking at solving linear equations again. Now, this kind of question is what we call a two-step linear equation because it only requires two steps to solve it. Now, before we get into the question, we need to understand what is actually being asked in this case. Now, we can see on the left-hand side of the equation, over here, we have an expression, which is 4a plus 1. Now that means 4 times by a number plus 1 is equal to 9. Now, some of you may already be able to identify the answer to this. 4 times what number, then added 1 equals to 9. And that's brilliant. But we need a step that will work, or a process that will work for all questions. Now we said we multiplied this number by 4, and then we added 1. Now, to solve a question like this, we always want to kind of work backwards and get back to where we started with this value of 4a and then the value of a. And what I advise for that is to isolate the term with the unknown. Now, the unknown in this case is this letter a. So I'm going to circle the term with the unknown. 4a is a term, 1 is a term, 9 is a term. So I've isolated the term with the unknown. Now, when you isolate something, it means you have it on its own. On this side of the equation, the 4a isn't on its own. It's got this plus 1 next to it. So to get rid of a plus 1, I have to subtract 1 from this side. But because the equation is always balanced, if I subtract 1 from this side, I have to also subtract 1 away from this side. Now what that leaves me with is on the left-hand side, I end up with the 4a on its own because the 4a's come down. The 1 and the minus 1 have cancelled out. And that's left me on the right-hand side with 9 minus 1 is 8. And now I've isolated the unknown, or isolated the term with the unknown. On the left-hand side, there is only one term which has the unknown in. Now what this means is 4 times by a value is equal to 8. Now some of you may say, oh, okay, I know what that is straight away. That answer is 2. But again, we need a process to work this out. Now, if I'm multiplying this side by 4, to get rid of a multiplication 4, we do the inverse, which means we divide by 4. 4a divided by 4 is just going to give us a. But whatever I've done to the left-hand side, I have to do to the right-hand side. If I've done 4a divided by 4 over here, I have to divide this side by 4 as well. And from that, we end up with a is equal to 2. Some of you already identified that from the off, which is brilliant. Now, it's always important to check our answer at the end. Now, we've said that a is equal to 2. So if I substitute a back in, we can say that 4 times by 2 plus 1, we need to check this is equal to 9. Let's see. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. So the equation works. We found the correct value for a. Now this is only one form of linear equation, which is two steps. So there are normally 3 different kinds. I'm going to show you all 3 of these on the next slide. And you'll notice over here that the very one on the far left is the one we started with. The aim was, as we said, to isolate the term with the unknown in. So we started by isolating the 4a, and then we worked our way down to isolate it and then finally find the value of a. And at the end, we just checked our answer. And we saw that previously. Now, the second question in the middle is a little bit different. We've got a value which has been divided by 5, and then we've subtracted 2 from it. Now, our first step, we've said, is to kind of work backwards. If I've subtracted 2, at the end, I will need to do the inverse of that, which is adding 2. But let's go with the method I've given, which is to isolate the term with the unknown. Now we've got two terms over here. The term with the unknown is the b over 5, and we need to isolate that. Now with that b over 5, there is a minus 2. So to get rid of a minus 2, we have to plus 2. If I plus 2 over here, to keep the equation balanced, I have to plus 2 over here. That will give me b over 5 is equal to the minus 2 and the plus 2 cancel out. 8 plus 2 is 10. And that's given us a value of b over 5. Now we don't want b over 5, we want the value of b and only b. If I've divided a value by 5, to get rid of that dividing by 5, I need to do the inverse. The inverse of dividing by 5 is 2 times by 5. If I times by 5 and times by 5, I would get 5b over 5, and that would cancel out that 5 over there. But that gives us b is equal to 50. Let's get rid of that, just to kind of show you what we did. But we've got here b over 5 is equal to 10, so b is equal to 50. Now we do still need to check that it's correct. We can say this is 50 over 5 minus 2. 50 over 5 is 10. 10 minus 2 is also equal to 8. And that works as well. Both sides, again, working out. We now come to the last example. Now this is a bit different because actually there is only one term on the left-hand side. And that term has the unknown in it. So if I want to isolate the term with the unknown, this term is actually already isolated. But what we've done here is we've got 2 times by the value of c, 2 times c, and then divided it by 7. And that's equal to 4. Now we saw here, to get rid of a divide by 5, as we did here, you can times by 5. And that will eliminate this bottom divide by 5. We said this is 2 times 7 divided by 7. So in the exact same way, to get rid of that divide by 7, we're going to times by 7 on both sides. That is going to give us, on the left-hand side, just the 2c. And on the right-hand side, 4 times 7 is 28. And now we're just back to this kind of question over here. 4 times the value is 8. 2 times the value is 28. Here we divided by 4. So here we are going to divide by 2. Divide by 2 and divide by 2. That is going to finish up with a value on the left-hand side is equal to c. 28 divided by 2 is equal to 14. That is our value. Once again, let's just check that we are correct. This is 2 times by 14 divided by 7. 2 times 14 is 28. 28 divided by 7 is equal to 4. So we can see that it's worked out in every single case. So let's just review, go back to the beginning. The aim when you're solving equations, when they are not one step, when they are 2 step or even more steps, is to isolate the term with the unknown first. Get the unknown on its own. Here it was 4a, here it was b over 5, here it was still 2c over 7, and then solve from there. I hope that's made sense. If it hasn't, please comment below or let me know. Thank you.